welcome back to the Sonic Symphonic podcast with me, your host, Ben Sebastian. This month, I've put some work into upgrading the format, and I hope that you enjoy what you see and hear here today. In my quest in search of the best in unsigned metal, I stumbled upon a two-man experimental deathcore project called XANXIA from New Jersey, who have just released an album called Maha Kalpa. Now, this title drew my eye, of course, because it comes from the old Pali language. So to explain what it means, a Kalpa is a long period of time in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology, generally between the creation and recreation of a world or universe. The lengths of a Kalpa can vary greatly. A short one would be in the range of about 16.8 million years, and a median Kalpa would be about 320 billion years. And getting to my point, a Maha Kalpa, which is the album's title, is the largest unit of time in Buddhism, and its ending usually culminates in either one of three apocalypses involving water, fire, wind. Well, who would have known? Buddhism and metal. This is their track, Kalpa. guttural fury from XANXIA. Make sure that you find the opportunity to check them out in at least the next 321 billion years before the world ends. What I particularly liked about that track is the fact that it was a 6 minute 34 second epic, but for me, the dynamism, the number of changes seemed to compress that time frame, and it was over before you know it. Really good work there from XANXIA. Now you've woken up, it's off to Argentina for a surprise that I stumbled across on Bandcamp, and I do love it when that happens. You're just scrolling about and you find something that really does impress you. This band, Liliumdust, have released an album called Our Deepest Hallows, which is jam-packed with sweet melodies surrounded by dark, futuristic and symphonic environments, accompanied with poetical lyricism that explores the conflicts and ordeals of human nature and emotion. From that album, I bring you Inner Child. Some really, really pure and beautiful symphonic metal there from Liliumdust. Just about touched. Well, there's no lying. I can't lie. It got the waterworks going. Something about just certain combinations of sounds just get me, and I feel that Liliumdust are going to be a favourite of mine for sure. I really, really enjoyed that discovery. Whilst the phrase inner child is on my mind, let me mention the bonus episode I put out a couple of weeks ago or so, where I reveal some stories from my childhood and adolescence, coupled with the soundtrack by none other than the mighty Cradle of Filth. It's a yin and yang of horrors, and I'm hoping it serves as a prelude to open community discussions about trauma, addiction, survival, recovery, and with a view to finding a way that amongst us tortured and sometimes disaffected musicians, we can carve a way through the weeds and empower not only ourselves but others to pursue our passions, embrace our talents, and push out some really good music and associated content. To that end, I'm on the hunt for interviewees in search of your stories, your bounce back strategies, your artistic approach, and your personal and musical philosophy. sonicsymphonic@outlook.com is my email. Get in touch and do check those bonus editions. Now, it's always great to get a band that comes back to the Sonic Symphonic podcast for another airing. It's a super gesture, and it convinces me in my more doubtful moments that perhaps, just maybe, I'm getting something right in this whole thing that I'm doing here. I love this band, and I'm talking about none other than NENUFAR, a gothic symphonic band from Poland. I featured them in episode 3, and here they are again, this time with their new single, Flat Earth.
Jump into the flames, you watch and love, yeah.
Flat Earth is a great follow-up to their previous single, Last Goodbye, and I seriously cannot wait to see and hear more from this band. And what I love about Nenufar is they have these super catchy choruses. They have these amazingly sort of meltingly melodic, chilled sort of breakdowns, and then in between all of that, it's just balls to the wall, heavy, and it reminds me a little of Fear Factory in their style, and that's something that I grew up with, their Digimortal album, Fear Factory's Digimortal album, and it kind of takes me back to when I was younger and fitter. But yes, if you're not following Nenufar, now's your chance to do it. So do it. Go on. Excellent. Now you follow Nenufar, I'm a happy man. Sonic Symphonic breaking news now. Most of you will know that I am a predominantly instrumental composer, and this kind of puts me within a niche in this symphonic world which we create, operate and appreciate, and I've been the shy and retiring type for far too long. So hearing it and seeing it first very shortly will be my new vocal single, which I'm releasing on the 3rd of September. It's called The Skin That I'm In. Recorded in 2019, it was a song about approaching that point in a breakup where you finally accepted that you can and should move on. The love is no longer reciprocal, and it shows a bit of a seed of pride in your ability to let go finally. Fast forward to this year, and since the start of my podcast in May, I've been very fortunate, very blessed, in fact, to make good friends with a gentleman called Adrian Durodu, who's you'll know from Phoebus the Night and Heartlight. He has done an outstanding job with the mixing and mastering of this track, as well as contributed to bass guitar. So from an outpouring years ago to a single today, and introducing my vocal style of sorts, here is The Skin That I'm In. Short and sweet, but packs a punch, and I hope that you liked it. Once again, a big thank you to Adrian for making me sound so goddamn heavy. The skin that I'm in comes out on the 3rd, all platforms. I'll be following up with more soon, I promise. Please do like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, follow my Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. I'll be eternally grateful for it. I love all the music I feature. I mean, it stands to reason, right? But each month, there's always a track that blows me away. And I've been thinking over the last few editions of the podcast, maybe that deserves just that little bit extra recognition. Of course, it's arbitrary, it's sorted to my tastes, but what is not a musical journey unless you find a pot of gold somewhere at the end of the rainbow? And this month, I'm going to talk about a project that has been described as being like the Marvel universe, but with rock stars instead of superheroes. Notwithstanding the fact that all rock stars are indeed superheroes, but unveiled as a brand new artist set to debut amongst its roster of otherworldly musical acts. URANIA FANTASIA is the character who performs a flamboyant and theatrical blend of symphonic metal, encapsulating the mystery and magic of the fantastical realm in which the character belongs, and is described as an angelic, androgynous being, also known as the Arcane Muse, in which this debut single receives its title. This epic opus acts as the perfect introduction to the character's story and music, setting the stage for an ethereal diva unlike anything seen or indeed heard before. The character is embodied by British countertenor vocalist Pete Rawcliffe, who you might remember from Crown Solace, I featured previously in my podcast, with music composed and produced by one William J. Rogers, founder of the UK-based LovAnaverse company, which creates the LovAnaverse music universe. So, in a Sonic Symphonic podcast, first, this month's Gold Award goes to URANIA's Fantasia's The Arcane Muse. Yeah. Twice in one episode, I've been caught by the old waterworks. And that track definitely deserves it. What a piece of composition that is. It's got just every attribute that I love in music. Fucking hell. If you like that, maybe as much as I did, go and get yourself immersed in the LovAnaverse, www.lovanaverse.com, and literally, like, well done, guys. It was a really beautiful pairing, and you've truly brought something really original to the table. A stunning concept, not just musically but visually as well. And I really thank you for the journey that you've taken me on today. And yeah, I look forward to seeing more soon, and it better be soon because I need more of that in my life. Yeah. URANIA FANTASIA, the Arcane Muse Gold Award this month. Sonic Symphonic Podcast. Whether you're a solo artist or international band of 15, the Sonic Symphonic Podcast is here to promote your music, complement your marketing strategy, and introduce you to new listeners. So far, I've supported 49 bands across 21 countries, a metric that I'm increasingly becoming proud of. The more submissions I receive, the more episodes I can make, and the wider I can extend my reach here on YouTube and across other podcast streaming sites. And therefore, the more fans can discover your music, follow, share, and get involved with real supporting activities such as streaming, buying merch, and who even knows, showing up at gigs maybe in the future too. sonicsymphonic@outlook.com is my email address, in which I eagerly anticipate your submissions. You will always get a reply because here on this podcast, no musician is ever forgotten. It's a tough world out there in many ways than one, and the Sonic Symphonic Podcast seeks to make at least the exposure side of these things a little bit easier and rewarding for. Often described as the opposite of déjà vu, jamais vu involves a series of eeriness about the observer's impression of seeing the situation for the first time, despite them knowing that they have been in that situation before. It's often associated with some forms of aphasia or amnesia, but today the phrase has been embodied by a fledgling band from Poland. They are getting ready to go into a studio later and record a 10-song debut concept album, Tailspin Theories. This album is going to be a spin on the Daedalus and Icarus myth, and in a sense it will tell the story of a psychological fall of the protagonist. Their influences range from Iron Maiden to Rush, Nightwish, Amorphis. They're highly proggy, and here's a demo I received of their track, Reality Dissolved.
Paranoid mind nestled somewhere in time, an uncanny fear, no warnings, no signs. Now at last, judgment day arrives. No surprise, we both committed crimes. A terrifying storm crushing your dreams, your hopes, blinding you, blinding us both. Call my name, I won't hear you scream. Play the game, give in to the fear. Is this the end? Looks like we're lost again. None the wiser, I'm bitter to say. Too late to pick up what's left of our days. It was all for show, a fool's parade. Who could have known? Behold with me this damning charade. Watching all as our memories cascade. Out of control, our reality destroyed. Life beckons us home. In the wake of our past, we can see all that's gone. I won't let you go. paranoid minds, they're still somewhere in time, and I'm gonna fear no warnings, no signs. Now at last, judgment day arrives. No surprise, we both committed crimes. A twisted, mangled hope amidst a raging storm, sweeping you, sweeping us both. Trust in me when the day arrives. Follow me, don't give in to the lies. Is this the end we fled? Looks like we're lost again. It's not the wiser, I'm feeling the same. Too late to pick up what's left of our days. It was all for show, not was parade. Who could have known? Beholding me, this damning charade, watching all as our memories cascade. Out of control, our reality is so. When a beacon of light beckons us home, in the wake of our past, we can see all that's gone. I won't let you walk this path alone. Out of control, our reality is so. When a beacon of light beckons us home, in the wake of our past, we can see all that's gone. I won't let you walk this path alone. It's just a game of another day of fun, time and a laughing, smiling face. Do you need betrayal? It doesn't matter what's to come, we want the got tonight. 1,000 nights we listen to the kind of love she loves. All the stars you're reaching for, burning your hands. I'll be there when you say I can take no more pain. In the end, the road to redemption leads to destruction. Oh, what have you done? Oh, evil while the second night. And when the first spotlights up the sky, close your eyes, your eyes.
Some really nice and encouraging sounds there from this fledgling band, and I cannot wait to hear what comes out the other side of the studio. I wish the boys there the best of luck with their 10-track studio recording sessions. Now, that's one proggy band going in the studio and coming out of the studio in grandiose fashion. Next are Taliesin. In history, Taliesin was an early Brittonic poet of sub-Roman Britain whose work has survived in a Welsh manuscript, aptly named the Book of Taliesin. He was a renowned bard who is believed to have sung at the court of at least 3 kings. Details of his life are quite sparse, and the first mention of him occurs in the Saxon genealogies appended to 4 manuscripts of the Historia Brittonum from 828 AD. Yes, I know, feels like yesterday when that book came out, doesn't it? I don't certainly remember it, but because I'm young and beautiful. The writer names 5 poets, what am I saying? Among them Taliesin, who lived in the time of Ida of Bernicia. That's the mid-6th century, so in a world entirely unrecognisable to that 6th century period, his name has now been resurrected again in musical form, and I wondered what he would make of this. This time from a faraway band in Australia, Taliesin, and this is their track, Awakened by Darkness.
Tell that
Awakened by Darkness there from Taliesin, and that's a fantastic dose of prog there, both in terms of what you could hear and what you could see, all that abstract imagery made for a great video, and coupled with the fun of studio time. It's always great fun to watch bands in the studio recording a rare insight and a classic video there and a classic song. Some of that riff work reminded me of some of that In the Presence of Enemies type Dream Theater stuff. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Taliesin, go check them out, you've got no reason not to. Fantastic finds now in the name of Korveld. He's an interesting and prolific guy from the Ukraine with 17 releases on his Bandcamp page. His latest one-man foray into symphonic and black metal is called Deep Woods Tales, with the first 5 tracks being more speedy and aggressive in nature, and the others having a more gothic, melodic and folkish sound to them. It was really difficult to pick a favourite here, but in the end I just had to go all in with Legend of the Seas.
Just
korveld there with some godless savage garden reminiscent Borgir beauty epicry vibes there. Check him out. Check the rest of the album out. You won't be disappointed. Combining aggression with precision technical ability is one Juansgarces from Ecuador, and boy can this man play. He's a musician, guitarist and producer who was raised in a home where music was very much part of an essential day-to-day, and he nourished his musical knowledge and skills academically and obviously through practice and experience, all from a very, very young age, and he's performed with some of the most renowned bands in the Ecuadorian rock and metal scene, and as well as many others in other genres. He's currently working as an independent artist, and he's devoted the last few years to developing his personal projects, and this album, Personal Warfare, is one of them, and he's got some great support on the album, featuring bass and drums input from members of Arcane and vocals from Exist Immortals, Maverick de la Fuente. My personal favourite on this album is this, Blame the Mirror. Absolutely fantastic effort from an absolutely fantastic album from an absolutely fantastic guitar player, and it makes me really think, what can I do by comparison on this thing? Really, I mean, never. I love her too much. Right, well, it's been a varied episode, as always. I've been Ben Sebastian. This has been the Sonic Symphonic Podcast. And remember, this is the email address you need to contact me. Send messages to read out. Send words of support to artists, maybe. Ask questions. And, of course, submit your music for future episodes. I leave you with another returner to the podcast, Terminal Dusk. And here they are, once more, with their latest single, Can't Get Away. And don't get away, because I'll be back soon.